Kevin W. Reese presents Mortal Missions.
All right, I'm here with Dan McDonald, the Life Regenerator on YouTube, and can I say the #1 raw food educator in the world? Is that safe to say?
I would like to think that just because I like my style.
Okay.
I like my all-inclusive,
Simplified.
welcome, super simple, doesn't have to be fancy, doesn't have to be complicated, doesn't have to be expensive, and anyone can do it and they can start right now. So in that sense, I'd like to think that potentially I've attracted more people to raw food in the most recent past, and it's, created a wave. So say whatever you want.
You're definitely the advocate of it, and certainly juicing. That's definitely a title you got to have.
It's almost more like the juicing. Yeah, I think I've promoted the juicing quite a bit, the daily juicing habit.
Yeah.
And then mostly really the fruit and vegetable guy. Like it's like raw vegan, but where's the fruit and vegetables? And everything's in bags, and it's all dehydrated, and what happened to the good old fruits and vegetables, So I'm more of a fruit and vegetable guy. Yeah.
So Dan, okay, this is what I want to know. When was the moment that you said, I'm going to start a channel, and I'm going to start promoting fruits and vegetables, and I'm going to get on this YouTube, and I'm going to start inspiring people, and maybe I'm going to make this my mission, my purpose? What was the moment? What was the process of getting to that point?
Well, what happened is one day we had this camera that we had bought, Krista and I, when we were traveling around the U.S. 4 or 5 or 6 years ago. I can't remember, maybe 5 years ago approximately. And we were just driving across the U.S., had this camera, and one day we had parked the RV, and it was just that camera had been floating around. We never really used it. We made like 2 videos. And I had already had the Life Regenerator channel since 2007, because that came from tissue regeneration from my mentor, Robert Morse. And I just put Life Regenerator. I didn't think about it. And then several years later, I can't even remember, maybe just a year and a half later, after I started that, I made a little video. And then it took me like a whole day to figure out how to upload it on YouTube, because I'm not savvy with the technology, and I'm still not. But I put that little video up, and I think I got 8 views in a week, and I was all excited, And then a couple people were like, "That was really cool, man.
Yeah.
Can you make more videos?" And I was like, "Oh,
Sure.
yeah." So like a week later, I think I made another one.
The rest is history.
Well, yeah, I think I made like 4 videos, and then Krista was like, "Well, why don't you give me that and I'll upload it?" And we had been studying. We wanted to do something online, but we didn't know what. But we had been studying online marketing and everything, and search engine optimization. We'd sit around and come up with all these new, methods of maximizing search engine optimization. And then she started doing the tags and the titles, and then it just went and then it just became like a daily show, and it's been pretty fun.
Well, I know, I've been on YouTube since '07 too as well, but I'm a radio guy. So, I got my 50 Cent interviews, my Lupe Fiasco interviews. I remember running into your page, and I remember looking at your views, and I'm like, I'm roasting this guy. I got this guy. A year later, I was like, what? Yeah, I mean, your views are just, they're just at another level, man. So I'm going to say that, you got a lot of momentum on your side right now, and it's growing organically. Nobody's really championing you. There's no celebrity saying go see Dan McDonald, anything like that. It's just growing organically. My question to you is, what is the end goal for the Life Regenerator? Would you like to maybe get on TV? If Oprah came knocking, would you do that? Would you want a show on the Food Network? And we're going deep here in this interview, Dan.
Well, for me, it's still the same exact thing as it was since the first moment that I started Raw Foods. I'm doing this for myself. Raw Foods is a spiritual path for me. And just like any path, roller skating, artwork, music, whatever path you take, that's an opportunity for you to grow into your most highest potential. So I am very focused on regenerating myself. You know, some people are like, you have a six-pack and you're thin and you have no diseases. I mean, when are you going to stop? But I'll stop when, you know, I am done with the process of total deep tissue detoxification, because we get bombarded with a lot of drugs, and our parents are genetically weak and they're on drugs, and we come into this world and our tissues are weak and our DNA is not expressing itself properly, and those damaged cells continue to replicate as a damaged way. Now, in order to turn that around, I'm just very interested in the potential of this. And I want to, in fact, I'm moving more away from so much fancy pants, Mr. Celebrity, and I'm just going into really wanting to do this for myself. So hopefully I'll still be able to help people, but I'm just going to have to really, I want to really get back on track with my own health, because I've been really plateaued quite a bit.
How do you do it when you're on the road? I mean, that's tough.
I stay 100% raw, but I don't always get a chance to be healthy. Like last night, I didn't get to bed till 3, and I got up at 5. I'm running on fumes here, and I'm questioning my decision-making paradigm right now. It's much easier. If you have a place and you're settled down and you have a nice co-op, you're a very fortunate person. You know, I'm on the tour right now trying to meet as many people as I can, and it's a lot of work. And I really had a break in like 3 weeks. So in order to stay strong and healthy and do this, raw foods regeneration, it's like right now I'm on raw foods, you know, it's maintenance.
Right.
But I really like to dig deeper, man. That is my thing, man. Fasting is next. I love using the herbs to strengthen, and I love using the fruits to energize, and I love creating discipline. I love discipline, but it's not discipline. It's really a hobby. It's fun. It's self-mastery.
Sure.
It's power.
Sure. Now, what made you go raw? Now, based on videos I've seen, you were a bodybuilder. I'm assuming you were souped up on tons of protein. Mm-hmm. And, you know, what happened? What made you say, I'm going to try this raw thing?
Man, I read a book. It was called The Essene Gospel of Peace. Most people have heard this. And I read that book, and I was literally transformed in a way that is unexplainable. Like, you couldn't believe me if I told you that a light came out of the sky and just filled me up and totally transformed my whole consciousness.
How long ago was it?
That was 12 years ago, October 2000. Life transformation it was crazy. It was a light, man. I haven't had anything since then, and I haven't had, you know, before that, and I never had anything since then like that. I'd love to have something like that happen again, where I feel like now, before I didn't really have much spirituality. I was like a Christian, and I had Jesus, but I didn't really understand spirituality. So when a light came out of the sky and totally transformed my whole life, you know, I mean, it's still to this day, I'm still, that day that happened, I'm still going off of that experience and wanting to, I mean, it was just like, it felt like the only way I can explain it is it felt like I picked up where I left off in my last life. Right. And it goes, you're supposed to eat raw foods, fast, and just, I didn't know I was going to be a teacher. I just knew I wanted this for myself, and I want this for myself. If other people are benefiting, that's cool, but I am in it to win it. If no one ever saw me on YouTube, if no one ever saw me again, I would still wake up every morning wanting to do my best and using the food as my own personal path of knowledge and discipline and focus and dedication.
I can respect that. Now, what's it like knowing that there's so many people out there that have been influenced by you, been inspired? There's people here at the G-Zen here in Branford, Connecticut, that have lost significant amounts of weight from watching your videos, and they want to shake your hand. They want to hear from you. What is it overwhelming?
Not really, man, because to this day I don't feel special. You know, we all have an ego, but mine hasn't swollen like I'm so good or I'm so special. I just feel like what's cool about that is that I have loved this truth. I have loved this understanding, these teachings, this knowledge since the very first second I read that book that night. And I love it that people are picking up on it and using it. It's ancient wisdom that could have gotten buried, and they've done everything they can to bury it. And it's so cool that it's surfacing now, and it's when it's needed most. And I'm very excited that God is using me to do something good for other people. It's
Your vehicle.
It's satisfying,
Right.
But like I said, I don't feel special. I still wake up in the morning and I still want to be the best person I can be. I don't feel like I've gained any celebrity status or I should be treated any special way, even though I do get treated very special at raw food retreats and events and everything. I try not to take advantage of it. I hook up all my friends and stuff, if I can,
Now this just wouldn't be a great interview if we didn't go into the advice side of things.
Yeah.
What would you say is more important if somebody had to choose? Organic fruits and vegetables or local fruits and vegetables? Because sometimes it's hard to find both, and my goodness, especially here in New England.
Yeah. Well, that's why I would say really try to open up your mind and get into this and get savvy, because you can go there and you can talk to the farmer and it might not be organic, but he's like, well, I don't spray anything and I put compost back in the soil, but I don't want to pay $5,000 a year for somebody to give,
Right.
It's not worth it to him. He doesn't make any more money. He has to charge more. So it doesn't make any sense. So locally grown, unsprayed if you can get it. Organic is awesome when you're traveling around the country and you've got that little organic celery and organic lettuce. You're always going to go for that. So you always want local organic first. Then you're going to go for probably next organic, because it's just cool and that it's certified. Then you get into asking questions. But that being said, if it's a locally grown fruit and it's right off the tree and it's vine ripened, it's going to taste better and it's going to have more nutrients. So it's really, that's a big question. You want to start educating yourself about this stuff and learn as much as you can, and then make really informed decisions and make the best decisions you can. The Dirty Dozen, you learn about that. Google the Dirty Dozen, and don't eat, normally you don't eat strawberries that are commercial strawberries at the grocery store, but maybe at the market you can talk to the lady, are these sprayed? And they might say, yeah, we spray them once or twice minimally, and you can get a feel for it. You can't avoid that stuff completely, but you can just learn as much as you possibly can.
What kind of advice would you give to somebody in a cold area on staying on raw? Now, California, Georgia, Costa Rica, wherever you have abundance, fruits and vegetables, coconuts, etc. What about here in New England?
It's cold, yeah.
We had a blizzard in October last year. I mean,
the nuts and the seeds and the greens, the nuts and the seeds create warmth, but you don't want to have all nuts and seeds, so you combine the nuts and the seeds with greens in the winter, where fruits are more cooling, cucumbers and celery are more cooling.
Right.
Some of the greens like kale, collard greens, and cabbages, those are warming foods. Carrots are warming foods, beets are warming foods, so you go for some of those roots, tubers, squashes and gourds, and you make soups. I'm a total raw foodist myself because it's so much a part of my life that I just follow the sun. Not everyone can do that, but the fats create viscosity and warmth. So you eat more fats. That's why when springtime comes, you better be ready to do some detox.
Right.
And so you can follow the cycles and the seasons.
right.
There's nothing wrong with a little bit of pouring some warm water over some squash, and there's a lot of little tricks you can do. Hot tea is very benign. It's like, is that technically raw? You don't want to go nuts. You just don't want to eat fried foods, and you don't want to, bake too many of your foods. But some steamed vegetables are pretty benign. Everyone's going to have to find where they go. I'm pretty hardcore. But yet not really in a certain sense, because no animal cooks its food.
Right.
And I want all the living enzymes, and I want the subtle organizational energy patterns in those foods to be complete and whole and not destructured and deorganized by heat. And because I'm really into this, because I'm just into it, is all I can say. And I want to take this as far as I can. And I want to set a good example too, but I do it for myself. I don't do it to make a show out of it for people. I do it because it's the right thing to do for me, because my brothers and sisters, the Essenes, that's how we lived. I picked up in this life where I left off, and I'm going to continue on to do that.
That's honorable of you. We're also the only animals that pay to live here. Ever think about that?
Yeah. Well,
we could sit here and talk forever about all
Yeah.
this stuff, but I know you.
Conspiracies.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're on it.
Yeah. So there's a bunch of people out there waiting for you to talk. So we're gonna let you go do that. But I just wanted to thank you because there was a time when I was like about 250 pounds, sucking down Newports. Food addict, horrible habits, no exercise program, and something came to me and said, you got to do something, and something said juice. Yeah. I was thinking about those old infomercials back in the day, and I hopped on the Google, and up came Dan McDonald, and from there, I've been rocking with your videos, and they've helped me greatly, and now I'm a holistic health coach, and I'm helping other people. So I call that the Dan McDonald ripple effect.
Yeah, it's the love. That's what it is. It's love, and it's God's power, and he uses certain people for certain things, and then it's the power that just goes out by itself, And so it's just, if you want to help more people, help yourself, and allow your consciousness to expand, and then automatically by what you are, you'll just affect people, and you won't have to have fancy media hype. The power will emanate automatically according to what you are,
Let your life be the message. Dan, it's a pleasure, man.
Thank you, sir. I sure appreciate the time and everyone's time out there and peace be with you all, and use raw foods for whatever you want to get out of it, for sure.
Kevin W. Reese.